Hi everyone, Steve Jenkins here, Microsoft's Worldwide Government Partner Lead. As part of the Government Partner Exchange today, we're going to have a broadcast regarding Dynamics CRM. Each month we'll bring a topic of interest to you about a late-breaking product or solution area that we think is particularly relevant to government partners. And remember everyone that the Government Partner Exchange is our new partner-only digital community specifically for government, public safety, national security, and defense partners. You can check it out at the URL here. And today's topic we'll talk about is about Microsoft CRM, one of my favorite products and solution areas here at Microsoft that we have for partners to take advantage of. And to help me do that, on our larger-than-life screen over here is my larger-than-life business partner, Anthone Withers, who's going to join us from the road. As you can see, he's traveling. And Ant is Hewlett Packard's worldwide Microsoft Business Applications lead. So say hello, please, Ant.
G'day, everyone. Good to be here today, Steve. Thanks for inviting me.
And as you can tell, I speak with a funny accent and Ant doesn't. So before we get into a question and answer format today, I want to just set the stage for all the partners listening with 5 key themes that I think are of particular relevance to CRM. So if you are trying to really net out what we're trying to point out as the partner opportunity today, it'll come back to these 5 things. Number 1 is momentum. Dynamics CRM is growing faster than SharePoint did historically. There's over 1 million seats of Dynamics CRM currently deployed in public sector. And public sector, depending country to country as we go around the world, is either number 1 or number 2 in terms of the most business and production coming out of any industry, usually in a contest with finance industry as to who's doing more seats. So you'll find a lot of relevancy and opportunities around CRM with the momentum that the product has, and Ant can certainly echo that as we get into our Q&A. Secondly, simplicity. Microsoft CRM looks just like Office, and so as we're working with customers, the organizational change and training simplicity of the product and the familiarity of the product are strong selling points. Number 3, cloud flexibility and cloud readiness. This is a single code base that allows customers to start with projects either on-prem, in a private hosted cloud, or in a public cloud, all with the same bits. So as customers make investments and customize the product, those investments can follow them as their implementations move around from different points of presence. Number 4, not only is Dynamics CRM a capable product out of the box, but it's also a very strong development platform. And I know Ant has a strong opinion, and we'll cover that in our Q&A, talking about the power of using Microsoft CRM as a application platform to modernize applications that you have, develop new applications, as a business process platform for any application use case that is relationship focused. And finally, profitability and partner value. When you work with Dynamics CRM, you're not selling plumbing. You're not doing infrastructure. You're not doing commoditized technology. You're doing a business app. You're selling it to a business person. It's running a core business process that the client considers very important. It elevates the value of the partner who delivers the service, and it also right now is a very profitable product, even in spite of governments that are dealing with economic adversity. They're more and more focused on the citizens and the people that they serve with their services, and customer relationship management systems are things that are still being heavily invested in. So given those 5 points, let me move on, Ant, and let's chat back and forth a little bit. Let's start out by just talking about the environment that you see. You're all over the world working on Dynamics. What are customers asking you about in terms of their requirements for CRM, and why do you think that a product like Dynamics CRM is attractive to a company like HP as opposed to other alternatives that you have?
Sure. Thanks, Steve. So if we look at a lot of the public sector agencies that I'm talking to globally, as you mentioned, a lot of them are really looking at application modernization, change. They actually have a back-end business process that was bespoke built 10, 15, 20 years ago. And really what's driving that change are a couple of things. One is around cost, the cost to support, the cost to maintain. But most importantly, what we are looking at doing is a lot of the government agencies I'm working with, they want to be able to better expose those business processes, either end-to-end to a citizen to actually improve citizen service. And that's traditionally where we look at selling, CRM out of the box around sales, service, and marketing. But where HP is focused, and where I've been working for the past 6 years with a lot of large organizations, is around the business process. So, look at around basic case management, grants management, and most importantly, as what we are seeing with the disruptive technologies around in today's environment, or as Gartner calls the nexus of forces, things around cloud, mobility, social, big data. Public sector agencies are wanting to be able to take advantage of those newer technologies. And what they have found is their old bespoke built application just can't actually do that cost effectively. So a lot of the work that we're doing is really going in, assessing the current application they've got, understanding the business needs and what the agency wants to do, and then also actually coming up with an architecture, building the Dynamics CRM platform that'll actually help them achieve those goals.
Yes. So, Ant, are you seeing kind of a maturity and an increase in the level of sophistication of the customers that you're working with? So where they might have been talking about just out-of-box sales, customer service type of scenarios a couple years ago, now they're talking about much more sophisticated relationship-driven business processes. And touch a little more on your comment about how you add value by strapping on cloud or big data or other technologies that are particularly relevant today.
And a lot of governments around the world are actually CapEx constrained. Right, budgets, and with given the recent GFC, they're looking at smarter ways to be able to provide better services, either behind the firewall and or out to citizens. So this is where moving a business process down to a cloud-based model is actually very attractive. So as they're doing that, they are modernizing their platform. Once they then actually get on that platform, and they're getting their return on investments, they then start looking at where else can we go with this business process. With what's happened over the last couple of years around social networking, the ability to actually start to understand what are people saying, what are citizens saying, right? You're looking at things that are happening around emergency. I know previously, right now at the moment in Australia, it's very, very hot. It's January. We've actually had a lot of heat wave down there and a lot of bushfires. And a lot of what's actually happening today, you've got people out there tweeting and keeping up, basically up to date of what's going on in their neighborhood. So the ability for government agencies to actually monitor that and then actually be able to route the appropriate emergency services to those hotspots is of utmost importance to them.
Mm-hmm. How about application scenarios like contact centers? Mm-hmm. Or talk a bit about line of business applications, because you made a modernization point here a minute ago. Hot scenarios, or are you seeing a big change in what customers are asking for there?
I've actually been out there building practices and selling Dynamics CRM since 2005. And it would have been a couple of years later, I was actually engaged in a commercial opportunity where the customer was looking at building a leads and event management application. And I was actually working internally with my organization, and my peers were actually pitching a bespoke built .NET application. Mm-hmm. And this is where I really started to understand the value that Dynamics CRM can deliver. Because if you look at a bespoke building application, as I always say, you need to build the user interface, the data schema, the security, the workflow, look at doing the integration, and then you configure the business processes. So be it you're doing a .NET platform or be it you're doing something else. By taking Dynamics CRM as a development platform, out of the box, you have the user interface, the database schema, the security, the workflow. You've got integration toolkits like middleware, things like BizTalk to be able to take advantage of. So what you mainly spend a lot of your time doing is actually configuring those business processes, mm-hmm. rather than customizing and building code themselves. The other advantage with Dynamics CRM, it actually comes with a software development kit. So as long as you follow the rules, and as I always say to customers, 70 to 80% of the software development kit lays out, do this and this is fine, don't touch these areas.
Obviously, Dynamics CRM, as I said at the beginning for partners, has a strong value proposition around this single code base, Start in the cloud, go on premise. Start on premise, go to the cloud. Run in a private cloud. Run in a public cloud. All with your customizations protected. What is HP doing around cloud? And how much traction are you seeing both from HP people excited to take this and have conversations with their own customers, and from customers and analysts that you're interacting with?
Yeah, I think if you look at majority of the analyst reports, and I'm sure most people watching this webcast would understand the market uptake of cloud solutions, right? So if I look at it, HP standpoint, we launched, would have been around about 2.5 years ago, our enterprise cloud services private cloud solution. We have actually built a Dynamics architecture within our ECS platform. This is available to our customers all around the world in the multiple data centers. Where we are getting a lot of traction and where my practice is focusing on is actually around the private cloud. If I think about today, an organization can start with a simple business process. And if I look at public sector companies, if it's a simple business process around something like lead management, right, a lot of those opportunities, you can look to public cloud solutions like CRM Online, where we're going down around the business process, right? So business process as a service. Think about retirement services, right? The ability, and this is where HP is putting a lot of money and effort in actually configuring IP accelerators, as what we call them, around this business process, like retirement services. And then the ability to kind of take that in a secure private cloud environment. That way, if I look at putting my hat on here, being in the Americas, I can go out to the multiple states out there who are looking at a retirement services process and actually give them a secure private cloud offering.
Yes.
So the advantages of having Dynamics CRM being a cloud-based solution or on-premise, from my standpoint, I only need to configure and write code once. Right, then that gives me and the customer the power of choice. Whether they actually want this, an on-premise model, it's the same code base. Whether we want to look at put it in HP's virtual private cloud, it's the same code base.
Right, understood. So thinking back, and you've been down the road with Dynamics CRM for a long time. You're a pioneer in this space. Thinking about partners that we have that might be evaluating getting into the CRM game, or partners we would have at Microsoft that are selling SharePoint today or doing infrastructure work. What type of guidance would you have for someone who was considering building a practice like you've done twice in your career? Do's and don'ts and things that you would want to make sure you communicate to them.
I think right now, being in the market today here in 2013, I think if I was starting this practice today, the first thing I'd look at doing is, okay, we need to focus on a cloud-based offering. If we look at what's gone on in the past 3 or 4 years with a lot of the public sector companies and also commercial agencies moving to a cloud base for the advantages of moving from CapEx to OpEx, that's the first and foremost. I think, for partners out there that actually might sell SharePoint or, kind of might sell, basically have .NET or custom app, I think the great thing out there, if you look at going in and selling a business process, going in and talking to the business about how we can, reduce your total cost of ownership, that we can expose the current business process, that we can easily integrate into some of the newer technologies. The great thing is using Dynamics CRM, it pulls all those pieces together. Right, so every business process that we do, every application, be it around visa processing, right, be it around immigration, be it around case management, the end of the day, SharePoint is a key part of that, be it from a knowledge management standpoint, be it from a self-service portal. So the ability to kind of look at this within your company to say, okay, I want to go down this path, right? I want to go down on the cloud. I want to most importantly provide more value to my customers. The ability to look at how have you built your practice, right? What are the core technologies? By taking up and actually selling Dynamics CRM, you actually start a practice that is going to bring all of those key components together all around a business problem, and then you can actually go and deliver that value to your customers. Okay,
that's a great answer. Now let's close with talking a bit about competition. So when you run into Salesforce.com, as an example, how's it going? How are you working? What are the customers talking about? What objections might you be facing? What do you think your strongest advantages are that are helping you win deals versus Salesforce winning them?
Yeah, a lot of the time, I think where we're going in, are we competing heavily against Salesforce.com? In the past 12 or 18 months, I'd actually say no. 18 months ago, 3 years ago, a lot of the market was still looking at CRM around sales, service, marketing. So it was competing head to head. A lot of where we're going though is, again, is around that business process. So when I go and talk to a customer and we understand that they are talking to Salesforce, the first and foremost, I ask them, why are they looking at Salesforce? Right? Why are you looking, what is the goal here? What do you want to try and do? What are the key points of you're looking at something like a public cloud offering? And I think from a consultant standpoint, you need to understand that. Mm-hmm. Because as you actually start to have the conversation with the customer, there might be concerns of actually having the data outside of the country four walls. There might be concern about not being, basically being in the public domain, as well as also, moving away from just your sales or service. You can then start to understand what are the other key components that you need to look at bringing, right? Let's come back down to the SharePoint standpoint, right? You might want to look at doing self-service. You might want to look at doing knowledge management. You might want to look at actually adding in multiple different other applications. Integration might be a problem. So once you start to understand why the customer's looking at something like a Salesforce, you then actually start to realize, okay, how do I now compete effectively against Salesforce? But most importantly, lead the customer to the right answer. Mm-hmm. Right? It could be as very simple as customers maybe don't know that this is a public cloud forum, right? You might be able to start to understand is, they want to do something now. It could be time to market. They have limited budgets. IT is not involved. I need to stand this up within 30 or 60 days. Right, so once you understand that, you then know actually how you can compete effectively with someone like a Salesforce.com.
Mm-hmm. Super. Ant, thank you. It's fun to talk to you today. Fun to go back and forth about Dynamics CRM. I'm sure that partners, if they want to come find you at Convergence, can carry on the discussion. So thanks a lot for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. And as you said, I've been working with Dynamics CRM since early 2005. So I'm more than happy to have a conversation and also offer advice around if you are looking at actually coming to start a Dynamics practice, what's the do's and don'ts, right? As I said, Steve's mentioned, I've done this for 2 large global companies. I'm more than happy to kind of sit down and have a conversation with you about this. And as Steve mentioned, I will be at Convergence, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Super. Ant, and congratulations on your practice getting to be 250 plus consultants right now and becoming a big revenue generator for Hewlett Packard.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Sure. So as a wrap today, a few things for all of our partners to think about. So at the beginning of the talk, we talked about 5 things that really set Dynamics CRM apart from competitions through a value proposition. So now let's talk about 5 things that you can go do that are all easy, that you can do to kind of move yourself along the journey towards becoming a Dynamics CRM delivery partner. One is I encourage you to check out and understand Microsoft's CSA program. That program is in place for software advisors to compensate you as a partner for the sales expense that you incur to work with customers to sell Dynamics CRM. It's a significant program that Microsoft offers. There's a significant amount of money there for you. For when you're successful selling licenses of CRM, you get compensated for it. Check out the CSA program on PartnerSource if you're already a Dynamics partner, or through the Microsoft Partner Network. Secondly, get trained. There's role-based training for sales, pre-sales, and delivery people available now for Dynamics CRM that will lead you to get the sales horsepower that you need to have the industry and business discussions required, as well as get your technicians certified. Number 3, pursue the competency as identified in MPN, because customers value and recognize that competency, as well as the Microsoft teams that you'll be working with around the globe. Number 4, as Ant said, think about attending Convergence. This is a Dynamics-specific event that occurs in March, where you'll have an opportunity to be exposed to a huge amount of content And it's a fantastic venue to bring prospect customers to. And finally, number 5, leverage CRM Online, the environment that Microsoft has as a partner, for the 30-day trials that exist for customers to take advantage of, as well as a place to have demo environments and demo assets that you can use to place those assets in a mode where you can access them anywhere that your people are in the world. So with that, I'm Steve Jenkins. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Ant, very much for spending time with us. And for partners, next month, join us again, where we'll have a similar discussion, but this time around our ERP product, Dynamics AX, and the opportunity that it represents in the public sector marketplace as well. Please give us feedback about Government Partner Exchange. We value that feedback. You can do that through actually the feedback button in the tool itself, or by sending me an email directly to my email address shown on the screen. Thanks a lot for your partnership at Microsoft, and good selling to you.